together. So should every leader, for we are one people.
All right, so welcome back, everyone. So a regional ferry service involving Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago, and that is expected to begin operations within 3 months' time. Now, this was confirmed by President of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, who gave an update on the situation on Saturday last. We do have on the line this morning TTMA board member and Vice President Regional Initiatives at Ramps Logistics, Mr. Rudy Rampersad. Mr. Rampersad, good morning.
Hey, good morning, and how are you doing?
I'm good. Good to speak with you this morning. Well, Mr. Rampersad, this is very new news. I'm sure that it would have come as a surprise to everyone, including members of the business community. And while I know that there may be not a lot of information in the public domain about it, but how do you feel about it? And how does the TTMA feel about it?
Well, good morning, everyone. The TTM is very excited to hear this news. It's a service that is much needed in the Caribbean. Into getting us into what we call a truly integrated CARICOM. Mm-hmm. So we are excited, and it's a very positive move in the right direction for trade also in the Caribbean.
Yeah. So according to the president of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, he says, we have launched the first phase of this. In another 2 or 3 months, that ferry will begin operations. And we are hoping that this will instill confidence in the private sector. And for the IDB investors, this is an excellent opportunity to bring a regional consortium together, the head of state said. He said, we are not waiting on everyone. Those who are willing to start an innovative project will go ahead, and the others will join when they are ready, he explained. He has really expressed great optimism about this project. In 3 months' time, I'm sure that some people may be saying, in 3 months' time, that's very optimistic.
Yeah. So it is a shorter time period than expected, but because it's something that is much needed, and you have the right backing of the government of Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados. Things have been moving along very nicely from what we understand, and moving in the right direction. They are at the stage of now putting forward, vessels and getting that moving, getting that approved. So, it is possible seeing with all the right moves happening in the right direction together and getting the right support. So things are moving along very nicely.
Do you think that members of the private sector would be very interested in investing in this project?
Yeah, I think it's something that is very much needed by the private sector. It's something that they themselves have been lobbying for a while now. It's a service that is much required in terms of getting Trinidad, the Caribbean, into what we call one really integrated CARICOM. Simply moving a container between Trinidad and Barbados, sometimes has to go up to the US and come back down. With this service, that movement could happen in 2 to 3 days, direct service at probably a fraction of the cost of moving that container previously. So it's something that is much needed, but something that I think the private sector will very much welcome, not just for the movement of cargo, but the movement of people also within the CARICOM.
Yeah, and I know, Mr. Rampersad, that your company, it does a lot of work in the region, more recently so in Guyana. So I suspect this is welcome news for you. But let's deal with some of the challenges that you think that companies in the region are experiencing and how this project would be able to help them.
Sure. So, within CARICOM itself, the biggest challenge, I think, from what we've seen is integration and logistics. Like right now in Trinidad, you have guys fantastically manufactured products. But the challenge is now the cost to move those goods within the CARICOM and then the transit time to move that cargo within the CARICOM. A lot of cargo we have seen into the smaller islands, into Antigua, St. Lucia coming down. A lot of it is imported from the US. And, the cost of a container for something like that sometimes can range from 5, 6, 7,000 US dollars. With this integration and this service, we can see that cost of transportation cut by sometimes 25, 30% overall on just the transportation bill itself. And now we are also allowing the opportunity to move CARICOM goods that are manufactured within the CARICOM, to give those guys, those manufacturers, those businesses an opportunity to expand into new markets of our already quality product that is being produced here in the CARICOM. And just to add to that also, I know Mr. Fanali has been speaking about, Food Security 2025.
Yes.
And this project is it's a big move in the right direction for food security. Food security, the biggest challenge with food security in the Caribbean is logistics. Moving the right goods and services around within the CARICOM at the right price. And this service will provide just exactly that.
Well, I know that yesterday the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, he spoke about this, and he said he was pleased with the level of interest generated by the decision to launch the ferry, and he assured that the TNT government is committed to ensuring that the commercial preparatory work is completed. He also said that while the government will facilitate the incubation of the project, it is hoped that the private sector will play an integral role in the expansion of the ferry service. So I think, Mr. Rampersad, a bit of weight has been put on the private sector, right? On the shoulders of business, right?
Yes. I think the private sector will welcome that weight. It's really good to see that type of relationship continue to grow within the CARICOM also. You see that private-public partnership, pushing forward in this type of service. So we're excited to see that, and we're excited to have that type of partnership with the governments as we go forward, because we need one another as we go forward to continue to develop economic growth in the region. So it's a partnership that is welcome, and I think it's a partnership that is going to work very well, especially for this type of project.
Yeah. But, Mr. Rampersad, I don't mean to be, or I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade, but I think that history will show us and tell us that sometimes when it comes to business, there is a level of difficulty in dealing with business in Trinidad and Tobago and the region. There is some difficulty sometimes at the ports, especially around, let's say, peak periods such as Christmas, Carnival, and so on. And there may be the risk of bringing this on stream now, that the system just cannot absorb the amount of demands and work to allow this to work effectively.
And rightfully so, we've had some challenges in the past, both with capacity, and workforce during peak season time. But what I've been seeing so far from different port authorities is, the right move in the right direction, in terms of implementing the right systems. We've seen a lot of improvements in terms of the software delivery that is being used on the port, to allow for fast efficiency, for processing of truckers, processing of documentation, allowing access of where the containers are situated in the port. So it is allowing that type of movement. So we're seeing that, the right move with Asicuda will, manifest online. So a lot of right moves are happening at the same time with the port facilities, a push by the governments to ensure that, as we move into this new phase, we also move with the right processes, the right technology that comes with these type of developments. And we are seeing that, we are seeing the right steps. So, we are very excited also to see that go hand in hand together, right? Because we would love to have this service up and running, but, if we don't have the right processes, the right technologies, the right people behind, we are going to have challenges. But, we have seen the commitment from different governments, the different port authorities to ensure that the right processes, the right technologies are being implemented as we go forward for this process.
Yeah. So you have expressed optimism about the project. You say that the members of the business community are excited about the project. Is it that view, let's say, the view of members of the Manufacturers Association? You've had a chance to sit down and discuss this briefly and come up with a position?
Yeah. So, at the TTM, the board met earlier, and, based on what we've seen in the public domain, or what we've been hearing through the private sector, we think this is a fantastic initiative. I think the manufacturers itself, our membership, is very excited for such a service. It is allowing them a lot more opportunity for new routes, new service deliveries, new markets to enter. And again, at the right price with CARICOM, within CARICOM, manufactured goods, we have duty-free relations between the CARICOM. So I think not just the private sector and manufacturers are very excited about it, but I think customers also should be. It's a new opportunity for customers also to have a variety of new products in the market, quality products in the market at lower prices also.
Yeah. Mr. Rampersad, isn't this an attempt, I don't know if you would agree with me, but it's another attempt at creating this concept of one Caribbean and moving all the barriers, the trade barriers that may be in place and so on, really allowing the free movement of people, professionals, goods and so on, all a part of the Caribbean single market and economy.
Yeah, and you're 100% correct, right? This is what we require, a real move towards one Caribbean, Free movement of people within the CARICOM with the right documentation, free movement of cargo within the CARICOM with the right documentation, the right laws, the right trade barriers being in place. So it's a real process, it's the right step into what we call a real integrated CARICOM, we're excited to even hear about that news, I can sit here in Trinidad today and cargo could be in Barbados tomorrow, or, into Guyana, or into islands, very quickly. That in itself is what we require, It gives the opportunity now to smaller manufacturers, guys who are doing 2 and 3 pallets of goods now, to move that goods into a new product, into a new market within a few hours, That is the type of integration we require. To me, that requires, if I pick up in Port of Spain, I could just drive to central Trinidad in a few hours, That is the type of sense and feeling and logistics that is required to give us a real one Caribbean, to have a real integration. And I think this project is something that's going to push that in the right direction, give us that one Caribbean integration.
Yeah, and we have been speaking about the Caribbean single market and economy for a number of years now. We have been speaking about the free movement of people and goods and resources, however you want to put it. But there have been some stumbling blocks along the way, right? Because of you have inequalities of wealth in the Caribbean. You have some countries are bigger than others, and all of these issues that we have to grapple with in the Caribbean. But do you think that more and more we are embracing this concept?
Yeah. So previously, we've had that challenge, and rightfully so, not just with economies, but, trade barriers, different things have hindered, the movement of what we want for a real one Caribbean. With this type of project, I think it gives the access to the smaller markets. It gives us now integration into new markets that may not have existed previously for, multiple different reasons. It allows us now to really connect with one another, I could sit right here in Trinidad and I could connect with a buyer in Barbados and I can have that goods move and it's there tomorrow versus what is currently happening, sometimes 7-8 days goes up and come back down. But, it also allows smaller guys to ship smaller products, smaller quantities, because now we have a faster service, a reliable service that gives you probably a just-in-time type of situation with goods and services. So you don't have to expand that type of economic investment. You don't have to put up a huge warehouse facility. You don't have to invest in, multiple containers to store and reload. This service allows the guys who have one or two pallets to move that goods and services with that investment that he currently has very quickly in and out. So it's going to make this service will allow everybody to kind of open the market for a fair play to allow both small, medium, and large businesses to kind of develop that type of service and that type of economic movement that we require.
Yeah, and judging from what you're saying, I think that what you are saying, it's really an attempt to, or you feel that is really going to level the playing field.
That is correct.
Yeah. How, as I said earlier, your company has been spreading throughout the region, and we know more recently in Guyana. How has that experience been for you all?
It's been fantastic. I tell you, it has allowed us the opportunity to really embrace what we want to be called as one Caribbean. It has allowed us the opportunity to understand firstly, sometimes there's challenges with different trade barriers, different entries to market. It has allowed us to understand those, but more importantly, understand how we operate in the Caribbean, how we do business in the Caribbean. What are the entries to the barriers and entries? The different, as much as it is one Caribbean, we have little differences in cultures. How do we embrace those positivity? How do we use that to not just do better for the Caribbean, but understand the challenges that we've had in the Caribbean, not just in logistics, but movement of people, and services. And how do we now provide a solution that all of us can benefit from? So it's been a learning experience, but exciting, and it is something that we have been trying to also understand and share those experiences, so that we shorten that learning curve for any other business or any other company trying to enter those markets as we move forward.
Yeah. Now, you did speak about it, or touched on it a little earlier, but also CARICOM leaders also received a detailed report on the progress the region has made towards increasing food production in member states. What's the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association's position on this, and how can the association contribute to this initiative, this concept?
So, the association thinks it's the right move. We have to work towards having food security in the region. Within the CARICOM, sometimes there's 60, 70, 80% of our food import bill comes from the U.S., right? We spend close to a few $100 million a year, very easily imported from the U.S., China, Europe for our bill, right? Food products. I think this one allows us the opportunity now to not just import or purchase from CARICOM, but allows us to understand the quality of our products, the nutrition value of our products, understand where our food are grown, what are the products that are being used. It's just not just a move towards security, but allows us opportunity now to understand more about the type and quality, the nutritional value of our food, and it allows us now to also help develop new markets. In Guyana, Mr. Ali has a few programs where the government supports new initiatives for young farmers, helping them with grants to develop new products. Recently I visited one of the farms here, and you'll see there's lettuce or romaine lettuce, different styles of lettuce that we would have traditionally imported, now being grown right here in Guyana. So it really allows us opportunity to expand into new markets, allow young entrepreneurs an opportunity to really grow, but allows us in the Caribbean now to understand better products and have a security of understanding now where these products are coming from, how quickly we can have those products, and then allows us the opportunity now to secure that in terms of understanding that where we have these products coming at a lower cost.
Yeah. And my argument has been, Mr. Rampersad, that, our taste in the Caribbean has really changed, right? All of a sudden we have a taste for what is being produced abroad. So we have that sort of taste now. But I think that you made a point earlier that that maybe what entrepreneurs or business people need to be thinking of in Trinidad and Tobago and in the region is to create similar type products as to what is being produced abroad here, so that what you do, and in fact, is to lessen that import bill.
Yeah, rightfully so, right? And, another side of that is, we all eat with our eyes first, right? It's for us to also understand the type of packaging we would like for these type of products, because we have really good products in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Products that could rival anywhere in the world in terms of quality. And I think the next step as we go forward is to understand, the type of packaging we have on those products, how we do the labeling, how we market our products. So it's a full 360 in terms of our business development of our product itself, and understand how we make that more appealing to the Caribbean, not just in price, but in the look and the feel and the touch of those products as we go forward.
Yeah.
And in TTM, what the board has looked forward to as we go forward in the next 6 months is to really launch a program that allows small businesses, medium and large businesses to understand those type of things, understand, the different types of packaging that is available, packaging that can give your product probably a longer shelf life. You may have to pay a few cents more, but you have a longer shelf life on the product, a different feel of the product, a product that may type of packaging and keep the freshness of the product. So different other things as we go forward, you'll see come forward from the TTMA as we go forward to help push this program of food security forward in different aspects of that project.
Yeah. So, Mr. Rampersad, is it safe to say that the position the ferry service is that your interest is piqued? And when I say your interest, from the business community, you all are excited about the project. You are willing to invest in the project. But at this time, you still have limited information and you'd like to get additional information.
Yeah. And rightfully so, I think the private sector is very excited. They are very optimistic also of having this come forward. It's something that is required. And as we go forward, as we get more information on that, I think we're going to see a lot more coming forward in the public domain as we go forward from the private sector and the investors in the project as we go forward.
Yeah. Rudy Rampersad, it was a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. And thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Cheers.
All right. Bye for now. So it's time for another break. We are coming back, everybody.
This jam go be Irie. Is one love, so feel free. For we are the